Welcome everybody, really appreciate you coming out again for our third installment, our pop-up for EagleWorks. Tonight we're going to talk all about innovation and entrepreneurship resources. So last time we found out about ways that we can actually fund our projects. So as a quick overview, you can do the Eureka program, which is the micro grants. And you can also go through the I-Corps program, and I believe Jeff may talk a little bit more about that tonight. So tonight, again, we want to do a quick competition overview, and we're going to talk about the Innovation Entrepreneurship Certificate. We're going to talk about University Innovation Fellows. We're going to talk about the Biz Foundry with Jeff Brown, and Small Business Development Center. We also have some times for questions and networking. So again, going back to the competition overview, please, if you have not already, please register now. Again, go to tentech.edu/EagleWorks, and the registration is on the home page there. So again, that does not commit you to the competition. That just allows us to know that you are interested in and you want to be in the competition. Have you registered already? Very good.
And I've also signed up for the class.
And you signed up for the class too. Great. So. Great segue. So we also have a class. It's called Experiential Learning in Entrepreneurship. It is taught through the College of Business, but it is open to all majors. So you are a mechanical engineering major, and so what did you do? You went to the website and you were able to click on the form because you need a permit, and you filled out the form, and once you filled out the form, you heard from a departmental secretary not too long after that, and it was very easy for you to do, right? Great. So everybody needs to do that. It is interested in taking the class. Again, that's a 3-hour course, but it is not required that you take it. However, we have found that people who do take the course are ultimately the ones that do place in the competition. Again, it doesn't guarantee that, but it will place you in a lot higher ability to be able to compete. Again, that course is not required, though. It's not optional. The only requirement for the course is that you be signed up for EagleWorks. So with that said, we will be continuing these pop-up series every 2 weeks up until EagleWorks, and we're going to learn about business model canvas. We're going to have some pitch practice nights. We're going to do effective communication, branding. We'll do a lot of really great things that will help get you prepared. So if you're not in the course, that's okay, but I really do want to encourage you to, if you have any interest in the course, go ahead and get permitted in, and you'll have a great time through that. So if you have not signed up already on the Facebook group, we will, as usual, we will post this presentation on the home page. All the links are in there. We also have on the right-hand sidebar, we have a direct link to join the Facebook group. So please join it. I understand you have joined the Facebook group. Thank you for doing that. So among other things, you will get updates about the pop-ups that we're going to have, and you will also start hearing a lot of pertinent information during the spring semester through the Facebook group. Now we'll email everything too, but we want to be able to make sure that that everybody gets the message. And a lot of people, some people like Facebook, some people like emails, other people like Tech Times. We want to try and do everything that we possibly can to communicate. Although I will say the Facebook group is going to be a great way for one line of communication. And if you have questions, you can, of course, as Facebook works, you can post responses and questions to us directly there. If you're not a Facebooker, that's okay. I'm not really either. You can always go to tentech.edu/EagleWorks and click on the contact button there. That goes directly to my inbox and also Andrea. So we are here to help. We want you to succeed. So please utilize those communication mediums to do so. Also, we want to talk a little bit today about the rubric. So the rubric is how you're actually going to get judged. Okay. So every year we will provide you with this year we will provide you with a rubric. I've actually put that on the website, and I'm going to open that up now. So give me just a moment. So as you know, we will have 2 rounds on competition day. There's a preliminary round, and that's in the morning, and then whoever makes it through, whatever teams make it through to the finalist round, there's usually about 6 teams out of 20 or 30 teams, and they will go to the main competition. The same rubric is used for each competition round. We will provide this rubric to our judges well in advance of EagleWorks, so it behooves you to go ahead and review that now. Jeff and I wanted to make sure that you got this information before you left. This is our final pop-up of the semester. So the the main action items that you need to be working on are register, join the Facebook group, and then of course look at the scoring rubric, which we'll look at now. Jeff, would you like to talk about the rubric?
Sure.
Right.
So part of why we want to do the rubric ahead of time is because over Christmas break, hopefully you're going to be working on your idea a little bit. So I helped develop this rubric because I'm going to pitches all over the United States to 50 or 60 a year, teams that are pitching for $100,000. So we use the same basic rubric for EagleWorks. And so we want you to understand, if you're going to try to win this thing, which I'm the most competitive person by nature, and so if you're not planning on winning, don't enter. You may not win it, but you need to go in there planning that you're going to. We don't always win, but we always want to work toward that. So we want you to understand this is a little different, right? Because entrepreneurship is a little different the way you've probably ever thought about it. So when people come to us as the Entrepreneur Center and helping people raise money and pitch to investors and all those things, say, is this a good idea? Well, we have no idea. If our crystal ball was that good, we'd be having this meeting in the Bahamas after you got off my private plane. Because if my crystal ball worked that well, I'd just buy stock all day long. But anyway, how do we help you figure out is it a good idea? And there's a framework to do that is true entrepreneurship. And when you guys are in the startup stage, which all of you are at, is what are the things that give good indication if this is something? So we treat this just like we tell the judges to pretend they're investors, right? So the way they judge you is if we had $100,000, which of these teams would we invest our money in today? And that's how we start the introduction to the judges. Now, so the first thing you got to do is, does this thing solve a real problem, right? Does it solve a real problem for someone who needs it solved and has money or a need? Because it can't become a business if it doesn't provide value to someone that will pay you for it. That's the true essence of what you're trying to figure out in a startup stage. So if you see these things are graded 1 through 5, 5 being good. We teach the judges, try to grade them fairly so that you're consistent. We don't care what the top number is, but if you're consistent across all the teams you judge, then that'll sort itself out. So, because we see some judges that give everybody 2s and 3s, and 2 people over, they're giving everybody 4s and 5s. As long as they're consistent, we don't care. That's getting what we need. So we have people ask for their scores, and we'd rather not give you that. We'll tell you if there were areas that were glaringly bad. We'll let you know that, because the feedback we give you is how to get better, not necessarily what was my score. But does this identify a real problem, right? Because we know, working with startup entrepreneurs on a daily basis, your original idea and what you actually wind up doing the world really wants may or may not look a lot the same. So have you identified a customer, right? Who would pay for this, right? Is it chemical engineers? Is it painters? Is it car owners? Who? And we really want you to try to boil that down a little bit to a person, right? Not a demographic, right? Boil it down to a person, So we tell people, we use the word of persona. So, are they in their mid-30s, college educated, make $80,000 a year, whatever that is, right? But be a little more than just standard demographics. And so, because what we were trying to figure out, and then have you identified a real solution? Or have you just kind of took a shot in the dark, right? So this is where we look at the innovation and creativity of the concept. So what we're looking for in these things is a little bit of innovation. It can be in the business model, it can be an invention, it can be lots of things, it can be innovation, right? But is there something new here, right? So honestly, I'll tell you, there's nothing against saying we're going to do an accounting firm. You're not going to do very well in the judging, right? Because they're applying a certain amount of innovation. Now, if it's an accounting firm that figures out a way to operate that's never been done before, they're interested in that. But just opening another accounting firm with 5 accountants, the judges are not going to give you any creativity for that. So it has to have some innovation or creativity to it. And there's also there, and this is a little different, so this is not a word that's on there, but then we're also looking at, from a technical standpoint, can it be done, right? So we won't get into names, but we had a team a few years ago that actually did pretty well in the preliminaries, and then there were no engineers in the room on the preliminary round, and basically as we were getting ready for the finals, an engineer professor at Tennessee Tech said that breaks the laws of thermodynamics. It can't be done. So, you know, we can't be saying I'm going to build flying cars for $10,000, right? You can't be, you gotta be able to do it. So there's got to be some technical proficiency there that it can be done. Market size, right? So when we talk about market size, you don't have time. Most of you don't have the experience. Don't be going in there going, it's, you know, $6.2 million, there's 437,332 people that'll buy it. No. We just want you to be able to look in orders of magnitude. Is this $1 million market, a $10 million market, a $100 million market? That's what we're looking for. We're not looking for you to say it's a $51 million market. You don't have time to do that. It takes 1.5 to 3 years to figure all that out. So, but we want to know that it's more than $10 and less than a couple of billion, right? So somewhere in there, we want a market size. And then what's the revenue model, right? Are we gonna sell it, rent it? Is it software as a service? Is it, you know, how do we get money? How do people pay us, right? Is it a direct sale? What's the revenue model? And so then social impact is pretty obvious. You know, does this make the world a better place? That allows some of the social impact entrepreneurs to pick up a score there that they may not be as scored as well in the innovation creativity, but actually we've had some social startups that were very creative as well, right? So don't think that creativity and innovation are two separate things, right? Creativity can be in a lot of things, and then innovation can be there's a better mousetrap, right? So social impact, pretty explanatory. And then my personal favorite, since that's what I teach, is the presentation story. Are you telling a story, right? Make your presentation good. And I'm telling you, the judges put a lot of time in that one because they've read your stuff for about 30 minutes and they've seen you in a 7-minute pitch. So they do the best they can on the others. But that one is based on your 7 minutes, right? So that's why we work with you on how to make a good presentation, how to really pitch. And then typically what happens here is in the preliminary rounds, we typically have 3 judging groups, and so they pass on 2 out of each group to the finals. If we were to have enough teams, we have to do 4 groups, which we almost did last year. We had a couple drop out that morning and kept us from doing that. So we could go to 8 teams in the finals if we have to have 4 preliminary judging groups. We also, and we'll be real honest with you, Michael and I reserve the right, as running the competition, that if one of the judging groups, because this could happen, in the dispersion of the groups, that they wound up having 3 that are obviously the 3rd place one is still better than the top 2 in another group. So we meet with them for about 10 minutes after all the preliminary judges. Is there somebody here that didn't make the cut that you want to stand up and fight for? So we let the judges do that. We've had that happen once. Who knows? But so there could be, so that's one of the things we want you to understand. If there's a team, because of how the judging groups work out, that obviously is pretty cool, but there's 3 good ones in that group, we don't want them to be left out, because that's leaving your passing on to chance from which group you're in. So we do that. But we want you to understand as you're working on this, those are the things you need to work towards, because that's what you're going to be scored on. So be able technically to say it can be done. You're also, and Dr. Canfield's not here, when he starts talking, he's going to talk a lot about some kind of prototype, a minimum viable product. So if it's software, it can be just a good SketchUp. It can be a good wireframe. There's lots of free software out there. You can make it look like the app actually exists. And when it doesn't, because you don't have time to develop an app. But if it's something hard, something that makes a noise when you drop it, some kind of prototype. It can be on paper. It can be paper clips, rubber bands, and Scotch tape. but you need to have some type of, I can make this, all right? We don't want you to go out and spend $2,000. We also have some money to help with those prototypes. If you do get to where I need to spend $75 on the stuff to do this, we can help with that, right? So we don't want you not to be able to do a prototype because of money, but we're not going to spend $5 grand either. So that's kind of what the rubric is. So we want you to go into this from the start understanding this is how we will be judged. So it's not really who writes the best business plan, it's who can answer these very preliminary questions. Does that make sense?
It does. So, Jeff, if you want to just actually kind of stay up here. So we've talked about the rubric and talked about what it takes to metrically win, right? But it's all about what you actually put into your project. It's all about your gumption and your ability to answer these things. But how do you get there, right? So as you have been learning, as we've gone over the past 3 pop-ups, we have resources available. So again, if you need some money, we have micro grants available. If you are not familiar with that, please do go see our website, watch the Fund Your Idea video. It'll tell you all about that. But we also have a lot of opportunities to actually help you with your idea, to help you with your business. And one of those ways, one of the primary ways that we do that is we are partnered with the Biz Foundry. Jeff is the president and CEO of the Biz Foundry, and they are a great service that really enjoys working with our Tennessee Tech students, has a profound knowledge of how pitch competitions work, and we've worked for the past 6 years together to bring you what you will see get it to this point. And this year, 2019, I will go ahead and say is going to be absolutely the best year for all of the work that Tennessee Tech and Biz Foundry have done together. So Jeff, if you want to, do you want me to go to your webpage or?
No, not really. I guess
Okay.
for you guys, so we're working with 8 to 10 students or student groups at any given moment in our Entrepreneur Center. We work with about 300 people a year, entrepreneurs that are trying to start something or grow it. And so we do the same thing with students. So, matter of fact, I met Tuesday, Monday, anyway, long week already, with a EagleWorks team already starting. And so what we do is provide our expertise and some mentors, if you want, that has some knowledge in how to do this. And so they'll help coach you through this. Not saying they always win, but like 85% of the money has been won by teams that got a mentor to help them. Pretty good success rate there. Then we also, so that's what we do with entrepreneurs, is how do we help get you the resources, the mentors, the knowledge, and the shoulder to cry on when you run into walls, and just all those kind of things. So we'll do the same thing for you. And then later on we'll talk about, we'll actually do pitch prep starting a couple weeks before the competition. So we'll help get you ready for that, but we're always willing. So one of the things I got to tell the competitors at EagleWorks is start checking your email. In the working world, you may hate email as a college student. In the working world, if you don't answer emails, you're going to get fired. Period. You may hate it, but the world still runs on email. Everybody's, from Slack to whatever, said we're going to be an email killer. No, it's still bigger than it ever was, because it's what runs the world of business. So when we're sending you messages, answer your email, right? So that's one of the things we would tell you. But we bring mentors and whatever. So if you're doing something that needs manufacturing, we got guys that can help at least teach you how you would get it manufactured in the real world, and maybe help you come up with a prototype. We'll come to this space and get engineers that know how to use SolidWorks, help design you something. Maybe we can 3D print it. Maybe we can 3D print it at our place. We have some other resources available, so we'll help come up with a way to get you some kind of working prototype. And don't over sweat it. So it's not about fancy, that it's properly painted. Prototypes, minimum viable products, are about building something that proves it will work. Don't worry about colors, how smooth the edges are, any of that stuff, right? So it can be pretty rough. So a lot of people spend way too much time trying to make it look good. It's not what you're going to be judged on, right? because the judges also know that your first prototype and what you eventually build don't look a whole lot alike. So
Spend more time on the rubric.
spend more time on the rubric, because that's what you're going to be judged on, right? And really spend more time on knowing the problem, how your solution fits it, and who will pay you for it. Because the judges, quite frankly, love that, because that's what investors are looking for, right? They don't care. Get an interdisciplinary team, find a business person if you don't know business, and we're not asking you to go into accountant level business planning, right? We want you to be able to know that it costs $10 to make it or $1,000 to make it. Same thing. We want it on order of magnitude. We don't want you to tell us within 50 cents because you don't know yet. It's too early. And so, but we want you to work with business on here's what we think it will cost to make it. Here's what we think we will sell it for, and here's how many we think we could sell, and now we can do some financial projections, and then when we talk about go to market. So one of the things we've seen a lot of teams, and it's not just in Eagle Works, but it's like, oh, well, what's your go to market strategy? How are you going to market this thing? How are people going to know about it? Oh, we're going to do a Facebook page and a website. Awesome. How do you get people to look at the Facebook page and the website? That's marketing, is figuring out how to get them there, not that you know how to post something on Facebook or build a website. How do you get people to come to your website? That's marketing, right? Now, the first stage is to have one they can look at. But you can have the greatest website in the world, and if a grand total of 3 people ever go look at it, it's not going anywhere. So you got to figure out how to drive traffic. That's a go-to-market strategy, right? How do I get people to know this thing exists? And that's really what you're trying to do. So what we provide is all that mentoring and help you with some ideas. Do a lot of whiteboarding. Maybe you had an idea of building it this way, so we'll ask questions about what if you built this, what if you did this, what if you did that. Just kind of get some outside views on what you're thinking, because that also prepares you for the judge's questions. Because probably what my mentors and all of us as a team, the questions we're going to throw at you, you're going to hear again on competition day. That's really good prep for you guys, because these competitions, especially, 2 years ago, we had less than 4 points separated first through third. So how you answer those questions gets deeply important at that point. We actually had, when it got down to half a point or something, I mean, it was incredible how close it was. So, so think about how to answer those questions, and we'll work with you more on that. But the mentoring's where we really help, is bouncing ideas. So, what else? So we'll help get you ready for pitch day. And one of the things you don't know yet is the winners of this competition then automatically qualify for Launch Tennessee, the state of Tennessee's collegiate competition, which will be in August. You automatically qualify to apply for the finals of it. And we've had, every year they've had that competition, Tennessee Tech has had a team in the money. Not that I'm competitive, but I'm very competitive. And so, yes, we've won money every year we've taken a team. And this past year, we won 3rd place. 1st and 2nd place were won by Vanderbilt PhD, MD students. And our not yet graduated engineering and nursing students won 3rd place, and they won $10,000. Prize money. We don't know this year.
Right.
We know it's going to be more than last year, but we don't know how much more.
But it's going to be good.
So it's going to be pretty sweet if it keeps going this way. So, we get a lot of people ask that, because we all want to know, right? Am I going to win 7,000, 10,000? We don't know, honestly, until probably a week out. If Michael and I have a solid number at that point, that would be a good year.
But as we get to some major milestones, I think it's worth reiterating that all 100% of the awards are donor funded. So we actually go out and work with alumni and generous donors of Tennessee Tech, and they give us money to make the awards. So we are working with some donors right now to actually get some more of the awards, and once we make that official, we'll let you know. So
it's really hard for us to give you an
yeah.
exact number until about a week out, because this is not There's nobody in the financial office at Tech writing us a check for this. So,
Right.
you know, we don't know how much money we're going to raise till it gets, gosh, last year we got the last check on Thursday before Saturday.
So it will keep going up over the semester, but I can go ahead and tell you right now of what we have, first place winner will receive multiple $1,000s.
Yeah.
So it's going to be good.
So we're hoping to get that to 5 figures this
Yes.
year for first place. So that's mine and his goal. So anyway, that's the point. And we want you to look at this thing. It should be fun. We want you to be excited. Because let me tell you something. If you don't come in there showing some passion, you're not going to score well. The judges, that's the number one thing they pick up on is, well, they didn't seem that interested themselves. They're also going to score you, even though it's not physically on that rubric, but that you have a team. Somebody that can build it, somebody that can sell it, somebody that can manage the money, right? Somebody that can market it. They're looking at that. That's one of the things we tell them to look at, right? Could this team pull this off? If it is a good idea, could they do it? Do they have the talents to do it? So that's not officially on the rubric, but the judges are always looking at that. So that's why you need to be, you know, find somebody with a little business help that can answer some questions. Anything else?
I think that's about it. Questions?
I don't think so, not related to that.
Okay. Thank you, Jeff.
You can ask any question anytime.
So, we also have on campus, we have the Small Business Development Center. And I'm not going to speak in their place, but I did want to go ahead and point out, we have the link on the website. And the Small Business Development Center is another resource that any TTU student can take advantage of. Small Business Development Center is a resource for any entrepreneur in Tennessee to get free business advice, business coaching along the lines of writing business plans and helping you to understand financials and things of that nature. I'm happy to say that on February 20th, we'll have representatives from the Small Business Development Center here to tell you more about that. But I did want to let you know that we do have that service available. And if you'd like some more information, one, you can go to their link, or two, you can, of course, as always, go to our contact and write us a question. But I do want to say that we have a great relationship with Small Business Development Center, and of course also the Biz Foundry. And Biz Foundry kind of handles things with you know, everything that Jeff just talked about, from really kind of getting your idea to that next level. And the center will kind of handle some auxiliary things as well. So
They're really good at helping with market
Yes.
identification and projection of numbers
Yep.
and things like that. 'Cause
Yep.
that we do that, but that's not our focus, right?
Right.
So they're more focused on that. We're focused on refining the idea and knowing who the customers are and those kind of things.
yeah, so I can't say enough about the partnership that we have with Small Business Development Center. So again, I want to invite you all on February 20th to hear more about that. So in wrapping up, I just wanted to kind of make you also aware of a couple of other options that we have available for innovation entrepreneurship here at Tennessee Tech. And the first of that is the Innovation Entrepreneurship Certificate. This is currently one of the only certificates that's available at Tennessee Tech. A certificate is essentially where you will take 18 extra hours. I'll put an asterisk next to the word extra because it's not exactly extra, but you will take a total of 18 hours that will allow you to get an Innovation Entrepreneurship Certificate that is on your transcript, it's on your diploma once you graduate. We'll also give you a green cord, and you'll get recognized at commencement.
12 of the hours are set up to where some of your required classes
Right.
count for those 12 hours. Now, it's different in every school, so take that with a little bit of understanding that
Yep.
may require clarification according
Correct.
to your major.
That is correct.
How's that?
That's correct. And the kind of the overview is, if you go to our Innovation Entrepreneurship website, if you go to EagleWorks, tentech.edu/EagleWorks, as always, that will actually put you into the Innovation Entrepreneurship website. And you can see over here on the left that we have academic programs. Just twirl that down and you can go to I&E Certificate. And it'll tell you more information, but essentially what we are offering is, like Jeff said, the first 12 hours are actually courses that are already in your major that have innovative and entrepreneurial components into them. Now, I'm not going to go over all the different courses. I think we've got about 40 or 50 or 60 of them. But
way out of my wheelhouse.
But what I want you to do is go take a look at the Innovation Entrepreneurship Certificate website, and down at the bottom, we actually have a table of approved courses. So if you click on that, that will show you all the different courses that are available across the different majors. And chances are the courses that are available are probably going to be courses that you're going to take. If they were not going to be courses that you were going to be taking, you may not have even known about them. So there's a lot of really cool stuff. Engineering, nursing, business, and fine arts all have different
And I think there's
classes.
a couple added since that.
Yeah, there are, and
again, out of my
yeah,
wheelhouse,
yeah.
but I'm at the meetings. So.
We are, this semester, we're actually working on adding several more, so I won't speak to them yet, but when we come back next semester, we'll have those approved and we'll talk more about those courses. But the point being is we have a lot of different courses that you can actually take that will qualify for the 12-hour component. Then the final 6 hours to get your full 18 hours, instead of taking classes, we've actually we've got it to where it's approved that you can do experiential learning. And guess what? EagleWorks is experiential learning. So essentially what we do is just have you take a very basic journal and say that you participated in EagleWorks and you had X amount of hours. Again, all of this information is there. I'm not going to go into the weeds of it, but essentially you take a little journal and basically prove to us that you were in EagleWorks, and then that will count for your 6 hours. And then there are other experiential opportunities that you can actually do. It doesn't have to be EagleWorks. It certainly can, but doing things in the makerspace will qualify. Doing things, basically anything that's innovative and entrepreneurial in nature will allow you to get this certificate. And one of those things, one of those really fun things actually, that I want to tell you about is an opportunity called University Innovation Fellows. We are actively looking for 4 unique, amazing, awesome Tennessee Tech students to represent us as a University Innovation Fellow. So basically, what an Innovation Fellow is an ambassador for all things I&E at Tennessee Tech. It's a really cool program that's actually a national program. It's run out of Stanford. Tennessee Tech is lucky enough to actually be one of their affiliate schools. And every year, the Innovation Fellows will have about 500 new fellows every year that actually work on a national scale, but also within their own university and within their own college to affect innovation and entrepreneurship on campus. Some quick demographics for you. First and foremost, you got to be passionate about innovation and entrepreneurship. So we want people that want to be change makers. We want people that see and do and dream in bigger orders and manners than most people do, right? We want creative people. We want people that are starting businesses. We want people that are thinking of how to improve things and solve problems. So as I said before, we can only take 4 students per year, so it's a highly selective program. So it would be very good for you all to be thinking about, is this something for me right now, and actually go into the website and learning more about it. So I'll go over there real quick. Again, this is under our Innovation and Entrepreneurship website. Again, you can get there, tentech.edu/EagleWorks or tentech.edu/innovation, and then just click on, of course, the University Innovation Fellows link, and it will tell you all about it. But like I said, it is a national program, and it is highly selective, and it is highly prestigious. So we talk about getting experience and putting things on your resume and adding that sparkle to be able to ultimately get that job. This is a great opportunity for you all to really affect change at Tennessee Tech and be a part of something that's a national program.
And it's, so understand, part of that trip to Stanford, so your flight's paid for, your food's paid for, I think the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, so actually I didn't address that. So as a part of being an Innovation Fellow, once you're selected, we will actually send you to California to hang out on the Google campus for
You get to spend a day at Google with all their innovation people.
Get to go to Facebook, Microsoft,
I don't remember.
possibly Twitter. It changes every year, but Google is
Google's
one of
kind of
big,
the host of it.
Yeah, Google's the host of it, so you get to do that. And actually, what you're going to do is you're going to meet up with all 500 of these new innovation fellows across the nation, and you're going to get really charged up and learn a whole lot about how to actually be a change maker of innovation entrepreneurship at your campus. And then you'll come back and you're actually going to do a project. So we've had several different projects. One One innovation fellow in the past has created I'm sure you're familiar with TEDx Talks. Well, he created a TechX Talks. He also created a social entrepreneurship society, and we've actually had 10 fellows so far, and every single one of these fellows have done something completely unique and innovative. Justin, for example, is figuring out how can he marry geology students and business students together using Bloomberg terminal technology. So a lot of really great opportunities. So, but yes, you do get to go to the meetup. We send you to California. What was your original comment on?
Oh, just that the places you get to visit, and so the day at Google is to help teach you innovation thinking and kind of get you guys lined up to go back and do this when you get back, and it's so. I know every single student that has gone, and they're like, just the day at Google was worth all the work.
All of it. Yeah. Furthermore, the networking ability that you have. I mean, you are literally getting into a nationally recognized program that I can tell you every one of our innovation fellows for the past 3 years have actually networked and caught up and made friends with people all over the country, and they still hold those relationships today, even those that have already graduated. So again, it's going to be about a 1.5 year to 2 year commitment by the time it's all said and done, because this is a major investment from the university into you, but we feel like the return on that investment is significantly worth it. So you'll be doing a project, you'll be doing really a lot of great things to help us continue to promote and grow our innovation and entrepreneurship program here at Tennessee Tech. And also you'll have some online training. You're going to have a lot of support along the way. It's a great program. So I'm not going to go again into the weeds about it today, but I wanted to make you aware of what this is. We will actually have some representatives. We'll have a faculty representative come and talk about that in the spring 19th semester. But what I do want to let you know is the application deadline is May 21st, and we're going to start talking to you about that early on in 2019. So if you're interested in it, for right now, your action item is to go to the website and read about it and understand what Innovation Fellows is and find out if that's something that you would like to do. And I guarantee you that is definitely something you want to do. So with that said, I think we can probably, do you have anything else to say, Jeff? I think we can wrap that up. Oh, one last thing. If you're a University Innovation Fellow, that counts for your 6 hours as for the Innovation Entrepreneurship Certificate. So again, take a close look at that on the website. Email us, let us know if you have any questions about it, and we'll talk to you more in depth about it in the spring 19th semester. So with all that said, as a really quick overview, what you need to be doing right now, if you haven't already, go ahead and register. Work on forming your teams. If you don't have a team right now, you don't have to freak out. That's okay. But do be thinking about that, because once we come back from the holiday break, January is essentially already over at that point. We've got February, March, and then April 6th. So it will be here like that. So be thinking right now, what do I need to do? You need to look at the rubric. You need to be working on forming your teams. And you ultimately need to be thinking about your idea and how you're going to actually accomplish that. So with that said, what other questions do we have in discussion at this moment in time? Good. Well, if you do have any questions, yes, a question.
I do want to know, what is that nursing group from last year? What was their innovation?
Yeah, so the first place winners. Okay, so what we had, our first place winners are known as ATS Innovations. All right, and they had a mechanical engineer, a chemical engineer, and a nursing student. And they came up with an idea for it's called the MetaFlex Therapy Glove. And it is a glove which has compression straps which help people with arthritis to help mitigate the effects of arthritis. And basically what you do is you put on the glove and it allows you to do exercises that will help you with your arthritis. And so they came up with the idea, actually in Cuba of all places, and they got so excited about it that they worked on it all year after Cuba and said, you know what, Michael, we're going to win this competition. And guess what? They did. Because they were very passionate about it. They went to the Biz Foundry. They utilized the opportunities that the Biz Foundry and the resources that Biz Foundry has. They utilized mentors. They did everything that they possibly could do to get every I&E resource that they could, and they won because of that. And also they have an amazing, awesome product, and that kind of helps too. Also, as Jeff talked about a little bit earlier, if you are in the if you're in the top 3 contestants, we will actually send you to the opportunity of competing in the statewide competition that's called 3686. Now that's a little bit more selective, but ATS Innovations was able to make the cut, and they went and competed, and they came in 3rd and won $10,000 at the statewide competition. And they are actually really forming their own business and are very passionate about making these gloves and bringing those to market very soon. And again, have worked with the Biz Foundry all along the way, so I can't say enough about it.
By winning 1st through 3rd at one of the college competitions, that qualifies you to apply for the state
Right.
finals, right? Then they select 10?
We had 15.
15?
Yeah.
Top 15, and then they pitch for the bigger money. So they gave over $100,000 to the 3 student teams this year. That was pretty cool. And we actually sat at my desk and registered ATS as a Delaware C Corp, and so we have IP attorneys and business attorneys that will help you do all that. And we actually sat at my desk and did it.
So not only do we have the resources that are going to put you in a very competitive place for EagleWorks, once you subsequently go on and win EagleWorks, we're going to put even more resources in place. We're not even talking about that right now, but the story does not end with you all winning at EagleWorks. That's actually really where it begins. Also, I want to say, guess what? If you are going to EagleWorks and you don't place at all, maybe you're the last place team. We don't actually have last place, we only have 1st through 3rd, but let's just say that for all intents and purposes that you are the last place team. That's actually an opportunity for you to learn from your mistakes, what went wrong, and compete again next year, because this is not a one and done thing. We want you involved in our Innovation Entrepreneurship Program. We have resources for you. We have a keen understanding of what it takes to actually make a business, and we want to see you all succeed. Whether that means winning 1st place or not coming in at all, you are absolutely going to learn something, but it's up to you to utilize the resources that we have. Help us to help you. We have this. We have money for you. We have competition money for you. We have resources like Biz Foundry and Small Business Development Center. We have mentors. We have everything that you need to be able to absolutely compete at your top level. And ultimately, above and beyond the competition, these resources are going to improve you as a person, academically, experientially, and also if you decide to pursue your business, we can help you with that too.
Well, so our main goal at the Biz Foundry is, of course, to see you start a business. So, we have teams that didn't place at all at EagleWorks that started a great business. So,
Yep.
right, winning the competition doesn't mean you're going to be the best a year later,
Yep.
right? So, part with the proper help and mentorship and those kind of things, you can become way better than the people that won the competition. So, the competition is a snapshot in time, right? And so, if you're really wanting to build a business, that's what we're looking for. But also, from the school's perspective, is you're learning skill sets that employers are looking for. They don't want robots. They can buy robots that don't require, health insurance and all those things. They want people that can identify and solve real problems and make good presentations and things like that. So the skills you're going to learn here apply to if you never start a company, right? But you're going to get promoted a lot quicker and make a lot more money if you possess those skill sets. I don't care if you ever become a true entrepreneur. You can think like one, and that's what companies are looking for.
We're all about mindsets, and innovation and entrepreneurship at the end of the day is a mindset. Like Jeff said, whether you start a business or not, it's that manner of thinking, creativity, problem solving, presenting, soft skills, being able to carry on a conversation with another person. Those are all
Working
things.
teams.
Yeah, working teams. That's
We got
huge.
news for all the engineers. You will work with the business people once you go to work. You will not be locked in a room with engineers 24 hours a day the rest of your career. You've got to be able to work with the business departments and all those kind of things. That's how the world works.
Yep. And EagleWorks and innovation entrepreneurship here at Tennessee Tech will give you and instill those values and skills for you. So, any other questions?
Just one more.
Yeah.
So say if I don't if somebody doesn't, necessarily wants to join the competition, per
Mhm.
se, but they want to start a business,
Mhm.
can the Biz Foundry or the Small Business Development Center help them in those details like funding and investors?
Absolutely.
Right, yes, absolutely. And let me say one thing and then go back over to Jeff. We want you starting real businesses. Tennessee Eagle Works, if you have a real business already or if you plan to start one, please do it. We're looking for real, actual businesses to come out of this. Now, with that said, we have the resources that can help you with the exact question that you just asked. So, Jeff.
Right. So let's preface those two side by side. So the competition is sexy, right? And it's a lot of fun. So it's kind of a celebration of this and to get people interested in it that may not have been before. But we do this 365 days a year, from entrepreneurs from 14 counties, from 17 years old to 77 years old. So entering the competition for us to help you start a business has nothing to do with each other, right? So, but what we do is provide an avenue to help you learn how this is really done and the mentorship. So you do not have to enter Eagle Works to get us to help. That's what we do every day.
But if you are a student at Tech and you've got a business or you're going to start a business and you want help with Biz Foundry, there's no reason not to be a part of Eagle Works because you can get that funding from the...
That might be your first $5,000 in funding is what you win in the competition,
exactly.
right?
And
so,
it will, all the things that you're going to go through to, when you're looking at that rubric and trying to figure all that out, that's all the stuff they're going to ask you anyways and talk to you about. Because that rubric, we didn't just make that rubric to make ourselves feel good. That rubric is real life stuff. So
that's what we teach every day.
Every
Different
day.
words, different sheet of paper, same concepts.
Yep. Yep. So that rubric exists for many, many reasons, and it's the lowest level reason is for us to have something to judge.
And if you only knew how hard Michael
Yeah.
and I had to fight to get that rubric compared to what it was 6 years ago.
Right.
So,
Yeah. So it's real world, and it reflects what we do on a statewide level.
Every day.
It reflects what we do with Launch Tennessee, who's a part of well, what would you say Launch Tennessee is?
So Launch Tennessee is a public-private partnership with the Department of Economic Development, and there are 6 of us entrepreneur centers across the state.
Yeah.
And
we're lucky enough to have one right here,
In Cookeville,
literally a
right.
quarter mile down the road. Other questions? Yes.
So what options do the competitors have after the competition if they didn't want to pursue creating a business?
Right, that's a great question. Well, the first and foremost is you can, if you don't win first place, you can compete on that same idea again. And maybe in that next year, you might decide maybe I do want to do that business. Furthermore, speaking to innovation and entrepreneurship in general, University Innovation Fellows is an option. Again, it's very highly selected, but I would really encourage you to look into that. And then we also have the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Certificate. So like I said before, you can take a certain amount of classes and do some experiential learning, and you will get that on your transcript, on your diploma as Innovation and Entrepreneurship Certificate, in addition to, I think you said your major is mechanical engineering. And then we also have other opportunities. We're not going to talk too much about it tonight, but myself and Andrea, who's off camera, we run the Center for Rural Innovation. So we take our innovation and entrepreneurship model here at Tech that we do with the students, and we actually apply it out into the communities. So we're working with real, actual entrepreneurs and helping them to either start a business or realize new business goals. And guess what? We utilize the Biz Foundry to help us do that, and also the Small Business Development Center. But what you don't know is that we actually have opportunities for interns. And interns are paid through Tennessee Tech, through the Center for Rural Innovation, and we will actually place you in a business to do a specific thing. So for right now, we at this very moment, we have an intern with mechanical engineering that's working on a medical device that for a business that has a very innovative idea. I can't tell you what it is because I'm bound by a non-disclosure agreement, but that person is working on creating a prototype for a medical device. We've had a painting student paint logos and murals and various things on a building in Sparta. And because of that, it's very visible. She actually was approached by the Sparta Chamber of Commerce and actually has new jobs for painting because of the great job that she did. And then we have opportunities for analytics, marketing, mechanical design, you name it, we've probably got an opportunity for an internship. So go to our Innovation Entrepreneurship webpage. You can learn more about the Center for Rural Innovation. It's on there somewhere. There we go. So just click on Center for Rural Innovation. But please do understand that we will take precedence or preference to students that we know have a specific skill. And how do we know people? Well, they participate in things like EagleWorks.
And a follow-up on that question. So let's say you work on something, but you want to go get a job and not work on that idea. You don't want to start a business. So, well, have you really invented something that we could license to someone else? And you get, we call it mailbox money, right? So you get 6% of everyone they ever make in Oblivion. Once a month, you go open that cool check while you're working your other job. So, I mean, there lots of things can happen with a good idea, right?
Yep. And then finally, we have, we'll talk more about this in 2019, and I mentioned it last time, is we have NSF I-Core. And that's really kind of focused on getting your product or idea commercialized. Now, you said, you know, your original question was, well, what if we decide really not to do the business? I would still encourage you to go through I-Core because it may make you think in a completely different manner and actually decide to actually start that business, or maybe you can get to a situation where you license this. So I-Core is all about telling you, you know, what you should and shouldn't do. To a
I
certain
mean,
degree.
the possibilities are endless.
Endless,
I mean,
literally
we could have
endless.
another serial entrepreneur that says, "Hey, we'll take your idea, give you 10% equity in the company, and we'll go build the company." Right? And so, you know, you finish school and you own 10% of a cool company. So, I mean, anything is possible, right? So that's part of how we want you guys to think, is that there's no one way to do anything. Right.
So as a recap, you can get your Innovation Entrepreneurship Certificate. You can go through NSF I-Core. You can become possibly a University Innovation Fellow, and you could possibly do an internship with the Center for Rural Innovation. And what I should actually say, when I say intern, it's not like a traditional internship where we place you during the summer. We can actually start you, if we have a need, we can actually start you the next day. And it's really what it is a job, but we title it as an internship because it's not just a job. You're not just going and entering data, you know, things like that. You're actually going.
You're not making coffee.
You're not making coffee. You're actually helping businesses realize their next business goal, and you do that through your specific skill sets. Other questions? All right, so y'all excited? Good. So this will be our last pop-up until we come back from the holiday break. So I hope everyone has a great exam, has a great holiday break, and please come back in January energized and ready to go, because like I said, it is going to be here before we know it, and you very well could be the next winner of EagleWorks. So with that said, thank you very much, and we'll see you in 2019.